So I remember when I drove for this cab company in Deer Park on Long Island called Arties. Believe this was in 2012. And of all the companies I drove for, this one might have been the worst. For those of you who remember, Arties is that company that became notorious when they were busted for housing all these illegal immigrants that they let sleep in their fucking, in like the back of the office, in this like secret room they had back there. And there was like 15 or 20 of these illegals sleeping in there on mattresses. And the room didn't even have any doors or windows. They literally had to climb in and out of this room through a fucking hole in the ceiling. And I don't obviously need to explain what would happen if there was a fire. Yeah, duh. And the company got basically fined thousands and thousands of dollars and shut down for at least a time. And then they changed their name to Deer Park Taxi. They, rebranded themselves, but they're still the same shithole company. And I decided that after shopping around and working at all these different companies around Long Island, since I lived in Dix Hills, I'd try this one. It was literally 3 minutes down the street from my house. And they were fucking terrible. I mean, I made almost no money. It didn't help that most of the trips, like 80% of them were to Hawaiian Dance where nobody tips. I wasn't making shit. And it got to the point, it got so bad where, my friend Ashley, I picked her up one night and we just went around in the cab together because I was bored. And she came to keep me company. And this was like, one of the nights was the last night I drove there. I only worked there like a week and a half, 2 weeks, before I had enough. And she basically made me quit. Because I was working for about 5 hours that night. 5 hours into my shift, I was making $8 or $9. That's it. In 5 hours. So it's less than $2 an hour. And she just starts bugging me to quit. And she goes, "Yo, this sucks. Yo, this company's bullshit. You're not making any money. It's like mad depressing. Just like going to Hawaiian Dance all night. Yo, this shit is mad gay, yo. Just quit." And I'm like, well, I don't know. And she just keeps like bugging me. Like, yo, come on. What are you doing here? Like, you better off just sitting at home. You're not making any less money just sitting at home chilling. Like, just leave. Then finally, like 20, 30 minutes later, she goes, "Yo, if you don't quit right now, I'm gonna like fucking punch you, yo. Like, seriously, just do it." And then finally I say, "You know what? You're right. What the fuck am I doing in this dump? $8 in 5 hours. So I went to the office and was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. And the person who was the dispatcher at this company, like on the night shift, was this black girl who was awful. She was one of the worst dispatchers I ever had. She was just a total bitch. She had no sense of humor. One of these dispatchers that like takes everything out, takes all her problems out on all the drivers. Like, what the fuck did we do to you? Why are you yelling at us all night? And I just purposely tried to piss her off by being like a smartass over the radio. Like, I took a lot of trips to and from this piece of shit Roach Motel in Deer Park called the Deer Park Motor Inn. For those of you who live in that area, you know that place is disgusting. And like, nobody except for like drug addicts and homeless people actually stay there. Maybe drug dealers selling out of the room. Using it as a base for their operations. But I picked up and dropped off a lot of bums at this place. And like, I would say shit like, I'd have someone in the car and I'd call her on the radio and I would go, yeah, I got one passenger going to the Marriott. And she'd go, "You mean the Deer Park Motor Inn?" Say, "No, the Marriott." "You mean the Deer Park Motor Inn, yo? You ain't going to no Marriott." Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, Deer Park Motor Inn.
Yeah, it's not the Marriott. Don't be saying that shit on the radio, yo. That shit ain't funny.
And of course, the passengers found it hilarious. Like this fat black chick in the back seat. That she goes,
The Marriott. Hey, you said the Marriott, yo. How that shit, you mad funny, son. He said the Marriott.
but yeah, 2 weeks, and I walk into the office, and this bitch obviously hated me more than I hated her. And when I told her I quit, she was so fucking happy. Well, she didn't look happy because she never smiled, and she was just an angry, like, PMS cunt. But inside, I'm sure she was overjoyed. And yeah, that was the end of my short experience at Artie's Taxi. Ugh, good riddance. Good riddance. Yeah.